The In Conversation podcast series with author Nigel Beckles.
Welcome to the podcast.
Please like the podcast and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.
Have you experienced several failed relationships or been through a divorce? How can you avoid making the same mistakes again? How to avoid making the big relationship mistakes is out now.
Hi, my name is Nigel Beckles. My new book is packed with practical and common sense strategies that you can use to make better relationship choices.
Now you can discover the dangerous myths about love. If your relationship expectations are realistic, why you could be falling in love for all the wrong reasons.
How to avoid making the big relationship mistakes. It's a book that could change your life.
Available from amazon.co.uk. Kindle version also available.
The very best way to promote your podcasts. Podpage makes it easy to create a podcast website with just a few clicks. Every page is optimized to be found on Google and it stays up to date forever. For more information, visit podpage.com. The future of podcast promotion.
Get ready for takeoff.
Welcome back to my In Conversation podcast series. My guest for this episode is American author Mahogany Clark. Hi Mahogany, welcome to my podcast series. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So where do you live?
Right now, I'm stationed in North Carolina, Fort Bragg.
And did you grow up there?
No, I'm from Miami, Florida, originally.
So I understand that you are 21 years old and have written not one, but 2 books. Who or what inspired you to become an author?
I've actually written 3 books. I wrote my children's book actually sometime back in, I think it was July or August, probably August. And I'm getting ready to release it in October. But what inspired me to become an author actually was another author that I saw on Instagram. He's a self-published independent author. He's not a huge author yet, but his name is Ken Benales. And I seen him on Instagram, and he was talking about how he pretty much did everything himself. He made his own website. He made his own cover. He did his own book. He edited his own book. He did everything pretty much himself. So when I saw that, and I was a writer at the time, I just would write. And then he would always kind of talk about finding your purpose and, good things like that, positive things that help you grow in life. So watching his videos inspired me to figure out what my purpose was. And I felt that writing or publishing would be my purpose in life because I would always write regardless of what was going on because it was just therapeutic to me in general. So that is how I came about to taking my writings more seriously.
So when were your books published and what are they about?
My very first book was published in May of 2019. I was 19 years old at the time when I wrote and published it. That book is called Self-Love, and it's a poetry book. It's a poetry book about, me making the mistakes of not putting myself first in life and how I tell or I encourage other people to not do the same things or look out for the same signs or look out for the same, mistakes that I was making, make sure that they don't do the same things. And if they have, that they can always decide today or right there in that moment that they won't make the same mistakes anymore. My second book, called A Cup of Family Tea, I wrote that when I was 20 years old and published that when I was 20 years old. And I also actually published that one in 2019 at the end of the year. And I was deployed at the time as well. That book is about my childhood, the things that I encountered growing up. From my perspective, I talk about, things I've seen from my family that I was around, things I've seen in my household, and the things that I had to go through and deal with at very young ages. But I always decided to do what was best for me and what was going to be best for me in the long run, because I knew I was in that situation, but I wasn't always going to be in that situation. So A Cup of Family Tea basically encourages people to just, no matter what they come from or what they go through, they can always choose to be them best selves. And my last book that I'm getting ready to publish and put out there for the world to see is actually my very first children's book. That book is called Somebody Always Loves You, and it basically encourages younger children to always know that somebody cares about them and somebody always loves them no matter what they're doing, if they're doing wrong, or if the people that they look to the most at the time are not around, or if they're just occupied with other parts of their lives, that somebody always loves you regardless. So you should never feel like nobody loves you.
So, Mahogany, what other interests do you have?
I would like to do speaking. Well, it can be motivational speaking, but not necessarily just, like role model speaking, how they have different role models or people that's doing better for themselves. They come and they speak to a crowd to kind of encourage the people in that crowd.
So, Mahogany, how can people contact you? People
can contact me through Instagram, Twitter. Both of them is Mahogany Writes with a Z. So MahoganyWritez. That's both my Instagram and my Twitter. And my Facebook is Mahogany Clark. MahoganyClark.
Well, Mahogany, all the very best for the future. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Another In Conversation podcast coming soon.